Happy Christmas season. During Advent, we followed the wise men to Bethlehem. Today, I want to look a little further at this story during the Christmas season. In Matthew 2, verses 1 to 12, it tells about this story in the Bible. And verse 11, it mentions they present gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. On our journey to Bethlehem, we asked a number of wondering questions. Have you ever wondered why these gifts were chosen to give the newborn king? Gold, as even today we know, has value for money, so it seems like one that makes sense. Frankincense is a precious spice often used as a perfume or incense. Myrrh was valuable, but a bitter perfume. One of its basic uses was as an oil to anoint a dead body before burial. This makes the gift of myrrh a rather strange gift for a baby. One Presbyterian minister, Reverend Ted Creen, explored the idea of perhaps why myrrh was presented to Jesus in a story he wrote called Myrrh is Mine. We were fortunate at Knox to have him as a guest anniversary speaker a number of years ago. So today I'd like to share his story with you. This story is not found in the Bible, but it is based on the biblical story of the Magi, and it explores why someone might give the myrrh as a gift to a newborn king. It is a fable for healing and hope at Christmas. This theme in particular is appropriate this year for various reasons. Perhaps this Christmas has been challenging to some of you due to a recent loss of a loved one this year. But for all of us, we are experiencing loss during this pandemic as things we are used to doing, places we are used to going, people we are used to seeing have been changed or removed from our traditional celebrations. So we experience a sense of loss and sadness. Sometimes we forget the first Christmas was not perfect and fully cheerful either, and that it is okay to experience some sadness during this time. I want to thank Ted Creen for granting me permission to record and post the reading of his books to share with you. A Fable for Healing and Hope at Christmas. Myrrh is Mine, by Ted Creen. Oh, come to the house. On coming to the house, they saw a child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Matthew 2, verse 11. This book is dedicated to the memory of Douglas James Creen, 1947 to 1970. A long time ago, a long and difficult journey began. It would be a journey of hope and wonder. In an eastern land lived a group of very wise people. They studied many subjects, including the night sky, which held power and mystery. Excitement gripped them when they saw something strange in the western sky. A new light had appeared, getting brighter with each night. What might it be? A comet? A new star? What could this mean? They asked each other. One of these wise people was absent, Balthazar had been spending his nights in solitude. It had been 5 months since the death of his daughter Arya from fever. Balthazar and his wife Tazar had been overjoyed when she was born. They had so hoped she would share their love of learning. Balthazar had dreamed of studying the heavens at night with her. He was not forgotten, though. The others sought him out. "Balthazar, you must come and study the sky with us," they cried. "You must help us understand this new light in the heavens and what it means." For too many nights, though, Balthazar could not summon his strength to join them. Neither could he sleep. He ached inside from the deep scar on his soul. He felt twinges of anger and gnawing guilt. "I should have been able to do more to save my daughter," he thought. One sleepless night, Balthazar did step outside. And yes, just like the others had reported, there was a new bright light in the heavens. Later that same night, he joined a gathering of the wise people. Melchior had discovered some ancient Hebrew writings that said a king would come to bring peace and hope to all. The wise people were planning to make a journey. They would find the one who had been promised and who was now being announced in the night sky. Back in his small home, Balthazar's head was full of many thoughts and emotions. Gazing skyward that night had relit the old flame of wonder inside him. What if he joined the searchers on their journey? Could the hope of this heavenly light bring healing to his soul? Tazar urged him to go, to follow his heart, whatever might come. What gift could he possibly offer this king of peace? The one item of value he owned was a jar of myrrh. It was precious not only because of its worth, but because some of that precious oil had been used to anoint his daughter's precious body. Was it a suitable gift for a king? Balthazar thought long and hard about this, and then decided to go on the journey. The king must be found. Myrrh would be his gift. It was a long and difficult journey at times. It was all Balthazar could do to keep up with the others. But the gleaming heavenly light led him with the promise of healing and hope. At last, the travelers arrived in Jerusalem and were ushered into the throne room of King Herod. Even though they did not trust the king, they received the final clue to their quest according to other Hebrew writings. This king they sought would be God's own son come to earth to bring his love and peace. And he would be born in Bethlehem. In a small and humble house, they found a baby resting in his mother's arms. This was the king they had sought. The night star bathed them in its glow, and Balthazar's heart was touched in a way it had not been touched in a long, long time. Surely this was the one who would bring peace to the world. Balthazar felt peace wash over him. He had felt almost ashamed of his gift because the others brought better gifts of gold and frankincense. But as Balthazar laid his myrrh before the child, he made a deep realization this child would experience both life and death, for love comes at the joy of birth and the sadness of death. With tears he had held back for so long, Balthazar stroked the face of this child. On his return journey, Balthazar held tightly to a vial containing a few drops of the myrrh. It was his way of holding on to the memory of Arya. She would always be a part of him. He also held tightly to the love of Jesus. It had gripped him when he had presented his myrrh. How strange that a gift offered out of his deepest sadness could bring such joy. The love of Jesus would nourish him through good times and bad. It would urge his love for others. When others had to deal with the loss of someone from their lives, Balthazar would be there for them. Now it was time to go home. Praying and hoping that this story will bring you a sense of healing and hope this Christmas season.